How's it going, meatheads? I'm back with you for another video to pump up your day with some motorcycle content. And we finally have a 70-degree day. And like you see that? The trees? Like, oh, that was moving a little bit, but not blowing wind for once. I'm so happy. So today we're out in my favorite little riding area. We're gonna go rip up some curves. I'm not really sure if I'll talk about much or not. We'll see what happens. I guess I do have kind of a topic on my mind because I saw another motovlogger out there make a video about should Harley make a performance bagger from the factory, and it's in kind of a similar vein, except I want to talk about what really defines a performance bagger, because we kind of have a general understanding of it, but to answer the question of whether Harley should make a performance bagger, you got to understand what a performance bagger is. For those of you guys who aren't on Instagram and who don't keep up with like Steve Chamberlain on YouTube or a bunch of other guys on social media that are into the game of making baggers actually go fast, corner, brake, basically a performance machine, it might come as a surprise to you that performance baggers are not exactly something that's coming from Harley-Davidson. And in fact, performance is going to be kind of lacking across most of Harley-Davidson's lineup, if you were to ask me. So, a performance bagger in its simplest form is basically taking a Harley-Davidson touring model or a touring bike in general and making it a bike that can stop better, go faster, corner, much more comfortable, while still being able to go across the country comfortably as well. You know, they have a fairing on them, they got storage, you got creature comforts still like GPS and radio and your Bluetooth stereo system and all that. So it's basically like, I want what all comes on a bagger, all the creature comforts of a bagger, but I still want to be able to throw it around in a corner comfortably, as well as accelerate out of tough situations, or, you know, see how fast I can go in Mexico, you know. So after that all definition is out of the way, ooh, big old gator taking up most of the road. Okay. With all of that out of the way, you gotta ask yourself, can Harley-Davidson even do that? And in the realm of like changing out the suspension setup, the suspension characteristics of their baggers and their touring lineup to be better handling and better cornering bikes, oh yeah, they could do that. They could put some serious R&D into doing it. Better braking system, yeah, I think, you know, they actually are Brembos, but they're Harley-Davidson branded Brembos, so, you know, that could be as simple as making lighter rotors, better compounds in the braking pad, bigger rotors, going to different calipers like a 6-piston caliper or bigger calipers, like all of that's also a possibility from Harley-Davidson. The part where you get really hard to do is the performance side of like going fast from the factory, because the EPA has to have final say on whether or not a machine meets emission standards as well as sound pollution standards. So what that means in the end is that Harley-Davidson still has to fall within the confines of what the EPA demands they need to do. And simply, if they want to keep making air-cooled motors to keep the history, the heritage, you know, which is one of their pillars of Harley-Davidson, is heritage. If you want to keep that pillar strong, they want to keep doing air-cooled motors. Well, air-cooled motors are inefficient. You're relying on air movement to take away heat, and heat builds up faster than you can take it away. So that's why, you know, with the Milwaukee 8, they introduced oil-cooled heads to try and help lower engine temperatures, and it also boosted power. We also have 4-valve heads instead of 2-valve heads. So all of this has been an evolutionary step. However, what ends up happening though is that you can only go so far before you fall out of line with the EPA. So what Harley has to do is they have to make a more efficient motor, and right now I think that they have pushed the limit as to what they can do with an air-cooled motor without having to go to a liquid-cooled motor. And based on what competition is doing, they're going to have to do it fast, otherwise they're not going to be selling very well. Which we see that that's where they're going, because with the new Pan America coming out and their motor producing 150 horsepower and like what, 80, 90 foot-pounds of torque, it's a huge change for Harley-Davidson, and it's hopefully going to be really awesome for them. So it's only a matter of time from then on when they'll make a big twin liquid-cooled motor to replace the Milwaukee 8. Now, I'm not complaining about the Milwaukee 8. It doesn't take much to make it so it makes a lot of power, which comes down to why I don't think that companies will make performance baggers, because simply the performance bagger market is not very large. It's larger than it was like 5 years ago, and it is still growing, but their core market right now is younger guys, you know, your younger guys, girls, and other minorities of people to get into Harleys, and they want the smaller bikes. They want smaller displacement, more fuel efficient, quieter, compact bikes. And you know, all those words that I just said don't really describe Harley-Davidson, as well as other manufacturers. You know, Indian is having huge success with their Scout and their FTR lineups because they are performance oriented, but they're also compact and small. Now granted, baggers are still selling, but they're selling to the older crowd generally. Like I will admit that I am an outlier at 25 having this Road Glide here, but I also bought it used. I didn't buy it new, so Harley-Davidson didn't get my money. The dealership got my money. So in the end, what it means is Harley is still going to sell baggers, but they're going to be selling it to the 40s and 50 somethings that don't really look to go fast. There are now, and I'm not saying all 40s and 50s guys don't want to go fast, but a strong majority of them don't really care about going fast and having the most powerful motor out there. They don't have the need to swing a big dick around. They want to tour the country, they want to relax, they want to retire and have a good time. So that's where Harley sells a lot of their baggers, and therefore their baggers reflect the people that they sell them to. So maybe in a few years they might redesign them or revamp them so that they're a little bit more performance oriented. If the 30s and somethings become their target market. But as of right now, I just don't see it possibly happening. But I do see, what I do see happening is them possibly changing the braking power of these machines, the turning power, you know, with the suspension setups and all that. I see that being a big change in the future, because guys want the plush ride, but they also want the ability to corner their machines so that when they get in with those guys with Softails and Dynas and even sport bikes, that they can at least, they can hang for a little bit, you know, they can throw it around, they can have a good time. And I think that's in the end what we'll see happen, is that Harley-Davidson will make changes where they make better sprung motorcycles, better stopping motorcycles, but until they develop a liquid-cooled big twin, I don't think that they will make a bike that's gonna have, you know, 100 horsepower at the rear wheel from an air-cooled motor without having to do the extras of like buying the 131 and just going off of sheer displacement rather than like cams that can actually overlap. They have longer durations, they are open longer, open wider. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that Harley-Davidson will ever release a performance bagger? Because the other part of the performance bagger culture is making something that's not meant to do what they want it to do and making it do it and making it better. And so if you take that away, does it kill the performance bagger culture? Much the same as like factory choppers really hurt the chopper community because people sought the look and not the process, you know? I want to hear what you guys think. Otherwise, I think I'm going to sign off from this video, put the GoPro away, and just have some fun on some roads, some curves, boys. Until next time, guys, peace out.